Hello, I am Anthony Giarrusso. I am a publisher, an author, and many other titles. But for this video, I just want you to know that you can now purchase my book, Travel With Me, Anthony M. Giarrusso, online at www.lulu.com in their bookstore. You can also purchase it at Amazon.com. And for my Australian audience, you can purchase it at Booktopia. As you see in the book, I ask a question right there on the cover. What happens when every person on Earth finds themselves discovering something new? That's a good question. Today I'm going to be talking about Freedom New Hampshire, Glen New Hampshire, Jefferson New Hampshire, and also Fort Jefferson New Hampshire, and also a generic area of forest within the state of New Hampshire that has a lot of wildlife. You may have heard of a town called Effingham. Allegedly, there's a restaurant there that has effing good burgers there, but I can't confirm that because I didn't go there. I went to the next town over called Freedom, New Hampshire. Before ever leaving the state of New Hampshire, you got to go check out this place called Freedom, New Hampshire. It is right on the border of Maine. So definitely go check it out. It's in the more northern part of New Hampshire. When my family and I went to Freedom, New Hampshire, it was dark outside, I remember. I think it was just a little bit after dusk, so we couldn't really do anything there. But I remember at how fresh the air was. It was almost like drinking soup. Like you could just go and just suck that amazing clean air. It just felt so great. And as a kid, I felt even better because I felt like it was like the American patriotic thing to do, to just really enjoy the amazing clean air there. If you think you have fresh air in Boston, Massachusetts, you don't know what fresh air is. You got to go to Freedom, New Hampshire to really experience fresh air. There's an area called the Kaufman Forest, and about 50 square miles to Mount Lafayette. It usually takes about roughly an hour by car to drive it. And I remember there were like these really, really tiny, almost village-like towns. And there was this one area where my family and we stopped our car. They went to go get coffee. I got a lemonade because I don't drink coffee. I still don't drink coffee, and I'm 27 now. I don't like the taste of coffee, but what's so interesting is that this general area, it's very scenic, and you see so many different types of trees. It's not just all white birch. There's like a lot of different types of trees, and most of these trees, I'm not entirely sure what they all are, but it just seems like there's a lot of different species of trees, and you notice that in this general area. Whereas, like, if you're in other parts of the White Mountains, it's usually, like, filled with mostly, like, white birch trees, hickory trees, and oak trees. But in this area, there's, like, all different types of trees. This general area is known for deer, black bear, moose, and also alleged ghost hiker sightings, nearing in the thousands. Either way, paranormal or natural, this is a paradise for people who love to explore the woodlands. Professional photographers from all over the world visit this general area because of the high amounts and diversity of all the different types of biological life that can be photographed there. Again, this is the general area between Kaufman Forest and Mount Lafayette. Do you guys like theme parks? Some people do. I love theme parks. I'm going to start with Glen, New Hampshire. You might remember a roller coaster tycoon theme park scenario called Gentle Glen. I believe that was based off of what we would call Storyland today. Storyland is literally just due south of Goodrich Falls, right in there of Glen, New Hampshire. I remember riding the log flume with the panda bear theming and a dragon-like thing that would kind of like squirt like mist at you, if I remember correctly. I remember it had a play area that had a mixture of these squishy rubber balls and also some hard plastic balls as well that you could like put in to this device that would suck up the balls and then throw them or shoot them through like some airtight chute or something. I'm not entirely sure exactly how it worked because I was so young. But I remember you put the ball in, the ball would go up this tube and then it would shoot out like way over our heads. I remember that. I also remember all these balls were all different colors. I had yellow and blue and all different colors. Something that I remembered from Storyland is they had a train where there was like this zebra painted like cage thing near the front of the train. I was never allowed to go in there because my parents wanted me to sit with them in the regular train area. They didn't want me to go and try to make friends with the other kids. It was just their mentality at that particular theme park at that particular time when I was very young. So I kind of missed out on the screaming children in the cage and the being separated from my parents on a train in a cage. Like, I missed out on that. So maybe that was a good thing. But I remember they had it. They'd always lock the zebra cage before the train left. I think there was also like a historical society down the street, but I can't remember if that was right there in Glen or if that was in another town. But I went there too. In this historical society, they had like a little museum, and you could walk through it, and they had the speakers where you press a button and they tell you some random facts about whatever you're looking at. Now, Jefferson and Fort Jefferson gets a little confusing because both of these next places are technically in Jefferson, but they called an area of this campground more like a section of Jefferson. It was called Fort Jefferson. But if you look on a map, it looks like a town and it says Fort Jefferson, but it's really just a part of Jefferson, New Hampshire, so that can get a little confusing. In Fort Jefferson, you have, or at least had, Six Gun City. And when I was growing up, that was one of my favorite places to go to. I'm not entirely sure when Six Gun City closed down. They may have closed down for good since the scamdemic of the alleged COVID-19, but I think they might be closed for good now, unfortunately. It was themed like a Wild West village, and one of my favorite things to do, I'd always get the jewel packs where you'd sift like the sand. You put it in water, it would turn into sand, and you'd sift it in the water. They had like, I guess you'd call them like bars, and they had water that would go in, and I just got like little stones like rubies and quartz crystals and smoky quartz and rose quartz and cool stuff like that. And they're like tiny little pieces of ruby. They weren't like something really nice and polished up that you'd buy at a store. They were like rough cut, like extra little pieces of ruby, which was really cool to check out. Six Gun City is the first place I ever went go-kart racing, and also the first place I ever did laser tag. Six Gun City had a water slide and a splash park for the younger kids. They also had a train-themed roller coaster, which was pretty fun. It was a smaller, more compact type of roller coaster, but it was still a really fun ride. Another thing, which was a first, and also the only theme park that I've ever been to that had this particular ride, bumper boats. That's right, just like bumper cars, but they're boats. The only theme park I've ever been to that had these was Six Gun City. So it's a pretty unique ride. So first time for bumper boats for me, first time for go-karts for me, first time for laser tag. They also had a campground nearby, and I'm not sure if the campground was owned by the theme park owner or if it was separate, but I believe that if you went to that camp, you got into the theme park as a part of a package, but I'm not entirely sure, again, if the campground was owned by the theme park owner. It might have been, but it might not have been. I'm not entirely sure on that. But they were wonderful memories, and you can still drive by that theme park area even though it's closed. You can just drive by, take a look, and leave. Now, still in operation, at least to my knowledge, I'm not entirely sure what has happened to this particular theme park or what they're going to do this particular year in 2021. But Santa's Village, I've made a lot of amazing memories there with my cousins that I used to go there with, my aunts and uncles and all different people, friends. I've had a lot of great memories at Santa's Village. My favorite log flume in the whole entire world. There's no better log flume than the log flume at Santa's Village. And I believe it's because of the mixture of the theming, the use of the landscape for the ride, with the overall ride elements such as the rapids, the corners, and of course the finale splash at the end of the super tall hill right in front of the parking lot. Now, also in that parking lot, before you got into the theme park, they had like a play area with slides that you could climb in, and it was great for kids. When I was really young, I used to love crawling on that thing. It was a lot of fun. And everything there was Christmas themed. One of my favorite things to do there in the park was they had an area where you could go and make your own gingerbread cookies and decorate them. I love that. They also had a train there just like Storyland, but the train at Santa's Village actually brought you to all different places throughout the park. And I remember I got to go on stage at, I think it was their magic show, and I was on stage, and they didn't want me to stand on the trap door because I was like really little. They didn't want me to fall down there, or at least that's what they claimed, or the guy on the stage told me that. So I ended up walking around off the stage at the end of the show, but that was a really good memory. They had this show area. There was like this huge arcade right on the outside. It was just a lot of fun. They also had the Santa's sleighs that you could ride, and they were sleigh themed. It was like a sleigh themed monorail type thing. You'd get in it, and it would take you around a certain section of the park. It was really cool. And there was something that was really cool. It was kind of hard to do because you had to go looking around for the different elves. They had an activity for the kids where you would go around, you'd get a card, and then you'd have to get a card hole punched by all of the elves so you could go and get prizes at the prize stand at the end of the day. I do remember that, and that was a pretty cool adventure throughout the park. Don't forget to buy a copy of my book, Travel with Me. There should be a link to the book in the description below or in the comments area. If you have traveled through New Hampshire, make sure to email me at wondersofAnthony@gmail.com and share with me your amazing stories of traveling through the state of New Hampshire. And don't forget that you could always give me ideas of places to travel in the state of New Hampshire with your recommendations, which I will accept. Have a great day. I'm Anthony Giarrusso. Goodbye.